Howdy, folks. This is Alan with today's news. And what I got for you right here is from Political Insider. Democrats introduce legislation to bar Trump from ever holding public office. Representative David Cellini, backed by 40 other House Democrats, introduced legislation citing a Civil War era provision and the 14th Amendment to bar Donald Trump from ever holding public office. I know I'm not saying that name correctly, but that's what I'm gonna say it. Cellini, he's a Democrat anyway, put forth HR 9576, which seeks to deem Trump ineligible to again hold the office of President of the United States or to hold any office, civil or military, under the United States. 40 Democrats, co-sponsors, have signed on to the bill. Oddly enough, only one original member of the squad, Representative Ayanna Pressley, Democrat from Massachusetts, is a co-sponsor. Donald Trump very clearly engaged in an insurrection on January 6, 2021, with the intention of overturning the lawful and fair results of the 2020 election. Cellini said in a statement, without evidence, you don't get to lead a government you try to destroy. Now, I tell you, Trump is not trying to destroy the government. Biden is trying to destroy the government. Biden is killing this country. He's going to make everybody homeless. Let's see, here's a tweet from Jamie Dupree. Over 40 House Democrats have introduced a bill to stop Donald Trump from being president again. Donald Trump very clearly engaged in an insurrection on January 6th, said Rep. David Cellini, Democrat, Rhode Island. You don't get to lead a government you try to destroy. Trump did not have anything to do with it. It's the Democrat trying to kill the Republicans. The Democrats is trying to destroy our country. It says here, Democrats wants to bar Trump from holding office by comparing him to Confederates. Cellini sent out a letter to colleges. I'm not saying that correctly. Joined a few weeks ago, outlining a bill and requesting co-sponsor for the measure that would prevent Donald Trump from holding public office again under the 14th Amendment. Surprised to see he didn't track down ongoing Republican lawmaker Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney to join the effort. Let's see, what's that here? What he did do, however, was neutralize another useful GOP idiot from the Democrats, Senator Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. Cellini used the Republican senator's own words to suggest Trump was responsible for a small portion of the supporters that he urges to protest peacefully, getting out of control and thus fomenting an insurrection. Even Mitch McConnell admits that Trump bears responsibility, Cellini said, saying on the Senate floor that there's no question, none, that President Trump is practically and morally responsible for provoking the events of the day. And here's a tweet here from the Hill, Senator Mitch McConnell. There's no question, none, that President Trump is practically and morally responsible for provoking the events of the day. I don't think it's going to play. It says, they are desperate.
There's no question, none, that President Trump is practically and morally responsible for provoking the events of the day. No question about it. The people who stormed this building believed they were acting on the wishes and instructions of their president.
So here, no question, he is responsible. Hey, but there is a question as to how Trump's speech equates to being liable for the action of others. Trump was not even at the site of the riot and as such could not be charged for action engaged in the Capitol, which I agree to. Section 3 of the 14th Amendment is a rarely cited Civil War era provision that bars individuals from holding office if they have engaged in insurrection or rebellion or given aid to comfort to the enemies thereof. In other words, mostly high-ranking Confederates. Trump was impeached in January 2021 on the charge of incitement of insurrection, but was ultimately acquitted by the Senate. Acquitted, end of discussion. This thing would be laughed out of courts in record time. Not to mention the dangerous precedent such legislation would open the floodgates to. After all, Democrats themselves have objected to electoral proceedings in numerous past elections. With all of that, Democrats would have to schedule a vote on a Cellini's bill before the legislative calendar comes to a close next week. With GOP-controlled House set to take over in January, the 14th Amendment gambit seems likely to die. Yeah, that's what I want to hear. And I got something else here to read. I got a lot of news to read. I might have to break this up in a couple of segments so it don't take so long. I think this one here is important. From the same one, the insider here. Our borders are open to everyone except allies. For those of us who served during the forever war in Afghanistan, which Biden turned chicken and pulled everybody out and left others there, our withdrawal just over a year ago will stay with us until we die. So many of us left pieces of ourselves in the country, literally and figuratively. So many of us served with and in many instances owe our lives to the Afghan partners we trained and fought besides. It is a stain on our country that will be generations to fade, and in a wound in my generation of veterans' hearts that will never fully heal. And while there is some hope that perhaps we will get some answers as to what the hell happened with the new Republican majority promising investigations and hearings, stories like the one I'm about to tell you highlight just how broken our government has become. It's easy to become numb to the numbers we hear daily showing how far we've fallen from the economy and crime to the border and falling test scores. So sometimes it's worth focusing on one number, or is this case one man? This is a tweet from Anne. It said, please grant asylum for Abdul Wazi Safi, Afghan elite soldier who fought the Taliban alongside American soldier after a harrowing journey to the escape. It says there, we view members of Afghan Special Forces as part of our community. Steve Patterson, a member of the Special Operations Association of America, told the Texas Tribune in a report Wednesday, we've been looking at finding paths to citizenship for them. looking at the federal level, but there's not as much energy on Capitol Hill to get these things passed that we like to see. That's because the Democrats are just fooling around with pity ante stuff. Patterson comments came in as the terming report in the case of, I'll just say Abdul, a veteran of Afghanistan elite forces who fought alongside U.S. troops in Afghanistan against the Taliban. He is now detained at the Val Verde Correctional Faculty in Texas. Can't read the rest of it. Anyway, I'll read on down here. Here is the mother of exiles. Abdul was proud to serve his country of Afghanistan. He trained with the United States Special Forces and became a member of an elite group of Special Forces commandos. He fought side by side with our most brave and lethal soldiers, fighting together for a common purpose and hope for his country. And then it all changed. We've all heard the story of Afghans units laying down their weapons and giving in to the Taliban with little to no fight. Abdul was not that type of man. He was still fighting the Taliban when we were frantically leaving his country. And when the last U.S. aircraft left, leaving all of our other equipment there for the Taliban to use against us, I added that one in. He was forced to go into hiding. Thanks to our administration negligence, I can't hear say that word. He left the Taliban with the tools to hunt down and find men like Abdul. Thanks to the biometric devices we left behind, the Taliban only needed Abdul's fingerprints to identify and execute him for fighting with us. Thankfully, U.S. veterans did what our government wouldn't and help him navigate from safe house to safe house, getting him to Pakistan and eventually to Brazil. Abdul traveled through 10 different countries all along the way, getting robbed, tortured, and beaten. And still, he wouldn't give up until he came to the country he knew in his heart would accept him, because surely the United States would take him. A hero's welcome. Abdul made it to our border. And while attempting to cross the Rio Grande in September, he was apprehended and arrested. Now, just like how the Taliban has biometric data on men like Abdul, so does our government. So one would think once Abdul was identified as a former Afghan Special Forces member, his request for asylum would be at a minimum considered if not granted. Think again. Instead, he was charged with a federal crime, attempting to enter our country illegally. The other 90 or so migrants he crossed with illegally was released because apparently we only welcome those who we don't know into our country versus those we trained and fought with us. See, this is Biden stupidity. Biden is so stupid. You can watch on television like an old man belongs in a nursing home. Anyway, this pisses me off. We're letting illegals in. We're getting them cell phone and money. People that from other countries that fought with us, we treat them like animals. That's why I'm against the armed forces. I've been in the army, and they do stuff I don't like. This pisses me off. It says here, Abdul told Fox News, I was in a Special Forces Commando unit with the U.S. military. I wanted to come to the United States. I don't select another country to help me because I was with them. But I come here and they put me in jail. It says here, service just like in our country. tends to run in the family everywhere, and Abdul is no different. His brother Sami was a translator working for our military. He got a special immigration visa and became a U.S. citizen in 2021. So why can't Abdul get citizenship? Here's somebody from Representative Jim Jordan from a tweet. Secretary Mayorkas, I can't say that right, I don't care, says our nation immigration system are broken. Well, maybe they wouldn't be if Joe Biden didn't ignore the border crisis. See, it's all Joe Biden's fault. He's destroying our country, letting illegals in. People that fought with us, keep them out. I can't be a proud American for stuff like this. No way. It says, devil in the detail. Our government has a unique way of reality, sticking it to people over technicalities. For example, Sami worked for the United States military, which means our government paid him for his service. Abdul worked for the Afghan military, and while it was our country that facilitated his training, and it was us he fought with, he was not on our payroll. Thus, he isn't viewed the same as his brother. The Chief Operating Officer for the Special Operations Association of America, Steve Patterson, has been trying to find a way to help people like Abdul. It says here, we've been looking at finding paths to citizenship for them, looking for the federal level, but there's nothing as much energy on Capitol Hill to get these things passed as we like to see. Well, if he would have came as an illegal, period, then he will be in this country. That's what I say. If you've never had the pleasure of serving the Special Operation Unit, you don't know just how deep that bond goes. The family is tighter than marriages, and bonds are their own citizenship, their own children. Abdul is one of them, one of us. Since it isn't convenient, he now faces possible deportation back to Afghanistan and undoubtedly a painful public execution. Let me play this here. This is on Twitter. Okay, I'm going to stop it right here. It says, breaking, a huge migrant caravan of over 1,000 people crossed illegally into El Paso, Texas last night, making it the largest single group we've ever seen. The city of El Paso reports Border Patrol now has over 5,000 in custody and was released hundreds to city streets. This is from Fox News. And I tell you, if I lived over there, I'd be locking my doors and windows and keeping people out of my yard. I protect my place. It's a one man yearning to breathe free. Abdul's story is more than just about a man fleeing for his life, hoping to build a new life in a country that promises freedom and fairness. Instead, this is a real life example of how the federal government is not set up to emulate our values, but instead is purposely broken to benefit those who care the least about our values. Currently, an estimated 1,600 illegal immigrants are released daily in El Paso, Texas. Over the 20 years we fought in Afghanistan, about 34,000 Afghans received special immigration visa. In less than a month, more illegal immigrants are set loose on the streets of El Paso than Afghans who received visa who worked with them for over 2 decades. Oh man, I tell you, our government is sick. Our government is falling apart. More now than ever, I say we're short of heroes like Abdul, but does Chuck care about Abdul or even the immigrants he claims to want to embrace? I'll let you answer that question. Unfortunately, a hero's welcome is what you got in this country. 11% of the homeless population are veterans in this country. Service members are on food stamps. At the same time, the government pushes for student loan forgiveness for well-to-do college graduates. It makes it rain billions upon billions in far-off countries in the name of climate change. Okay, now we can't help our veterans. Okay, we can help the immigrants. That does not have nothing to do with our country. We got veterans homeless. They're on food stamps, and then Biden tried to give money to the wealthy kids to pay off their loans. Does that make sense? No, I am pissed off. Biden need to be out of there. We need to get rid of him. Tired of that old man. Says here, in our government, officials don't care about the thousands of homeless, thousands of victims of crime and abuse, and thousands of children and women trafficked into our country through our open borders. Will they care about one man who risked everything to fight for his country side by side with our own, and then risk everything to come to the land of the free, in the home of the brave? Doubtful battle buddy. Anyway, I'm over my 20 limit. I might put another newscast out too. I might put this out this afternoon and then put another one out in the morning. This pisses me off. We need to get Biden out of there. Okay, that's the end of this one here. I got to cool off. Biden pisses me off again. Talk to you later. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Until next time.